how we sound. I love the Downtown Struts. For anyone who doesn't know what that band was, that was the Downtown Struts. That was Victoria. One of the most beautiful albums, I think, that came out in the last 10 years. Anyway, that's an aside. Hello, friends. Happy weekend. How are you all? You can see that we've been at the Manic Panic today in our house. Look at that. Feeling weekend fresh. My 4-year-old now also has pink hair. Woohoo! Join the rest of us weirdos with our awesome hair colours. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. We are continuing our series of chats with punk parents about how we're doing parenting in the pandemic. We're going to be chatting to Karen Jasper in a second, who, through my husband, I've met her when she was out on the road with UX Bombs, who have Jessie from the Aggrolites as the singer, who's a friend of mine. So that's how we know each other. We're going to be talking about... well, we were talking to Katie Otto yesterday from Exotic Fever Records. And I were talking a lot about, managing the expectations of your kids and how to have hard questions. Hi!
Hello. I wish my hair was as bright as yours.
Dude, my pink Manic Panic arrived yesterday and I was like, yes! I'm going to feel like a whole new human. How are you?
I'm ready for a redo. I'm doing okay. We're having a little bit of heat here in Phoenix, and I think it's affecting our Wi-Fi. So we'll see how this goes.
Okay, absolutely.
How's everything?
I think we're all making this up, and yeah, we're all good. Thank you. Bit cloudy in the Bay Area today. Not very. It's been a lovely couple of days actually. But before we get really started, would you like to introduce yourself and maybe give folks a little bit of an idea of some of the different hats that you've worn within like the punk industry and punk world to date?
Sure. Well, I'm Jasper. Some people know me, most people know me as Jasper. A lot of old school friends and van and trailer bands know me as Karen. But I'm working on the DIY circuit back when I was younger with a lot of bands, and at the same time was kind of traveling all over and snowboarding, and in turn met a lot of people on the road and just was like, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to work in music. And so I did a lot of DIY stuff in younger years. And then when moving to LA, I had to kind of take a step up to pay the bills and started doing production work and dove into this world of festivals. And stuck with it because when pregnant, my son was born. I'm like, hey, I kind of have a day job, but I'm still a little independent. But I've always had my hands in on different things. I promoted a slew of all ages shows in LA and did some tour booking for a lot of bands. So that's kind of how I connected with everyone and still connected. And it's really amazing to see a lot of us older friends and bandmates that all have families now, and I feel old.
Yeah, increasingly, I think I look around the folks that I've known, for the time that I've been going to shows, and like you do kind of look around and go like, you've got kids of this age, you've got kids of that age, you now own a business, you now like, oh, well, look at us all growing up, it's that kind of feeling.
Yeah. And I love the younger years. I love the toddlers. I love that age. I love seeing everybody doing the things that I used to do, doing new things. Everything is so new and technology based now. And here I am, like totally in teen world, so preteen world. So it's interesting.
So how are you doing? You've got one kid, right?
Yes. Yeah. We're doing pretty good. The weather's changing here really quick, so automatically we want to turn our schedules kind of upside down and be awake when it's at night and sleep all day because it's hot. But I know it's not good to do that. But and I'm trying to adjust from gig schedule where, you know, I can be awake until 4 a.m, but still I have to get up because of normal life. So we're doing okay. I mean, it's different. It's definitely different. I think that he's not used to me being around all the time, 24 hours. Like, and we're almost kind of reinventing our relationship, you know, kind of like we're, you know, not just mom and son, but we're like kind of roommates, you know. But yeah, older teenagers are definitely.
Is he a good roommate? Would you recommend?
Yeah, he is. I mean, he does his own thing, and I think because he is so independent and wanting to do his own thing the way that he has been raised, it's been allowing me to kind of have my independence and my own time. But it's I feel like it's kind of opposite now that he's older from when you were younger, where they just needed you all the time and you had to plan the days and this is what we're doing and they looked up to you. Now it's like, hey, I'm on my own schedule. This is what I want to do. Just get the basics down. When are you going to get up? Make sure you know, get yourself ready, whether we have something to do or not. Make sure you eat. They slowly detach.
Yeah.
So it's been interesting to try and connect, you know. And I try and use meal times as a time to connect, but you know, they want their 12 tweens and teenagers, I think, want their independence. I'm learning how to figure out the different ways we can connect, because when you are together and it's only you two for 30 plus days every day, I'm not really working, so I'm not totally on the computer. You know, it's different. It's a whole new world.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
And I want to come back and talk about the massive amount of time together, but just thinking about like that age and like how much I valued my independence at that age and the ability to not be in the same vicinity as my parents. Like as good as a relationship as you can have with your parents, when you are that old, like getting to that age, like your independence is incredibly important. And how do you do that when you can't go anywhere? You know, how do you do that when you can't leave the house or you can't go hang out with your mates or that kind of stuff? Like, are you guys finding that privacy and like having your own space is important? Are you like carving out time to do things where you're like set completely separately and making sure that like there's a little bit of independence with what you can?
What, you know, it took me quite a few weeks, about 3 weeks, to kind of figure this out. But like, you can just leave somebody alone and give them their space, but if you don't communicate, and the slow communications, it's almost like I have to pick the things that I say, the times that I want to communicate, because they have a lot going on in here, a lot more than you realize. So yes, we have our own spaces, but I have to communicate to him that, hey, I'm going to be sitting on the floor trying to figure out how to alphabetize my records. Would you like to join me? No, but that's my time. Something I haven't done in a very long time is to go through records. So that's like my time. But communicating, like, he is like, I just want to go, and now everything on YouTube and all these live streams are kind of scheduled. So he'll tell me, like, I just want to this one gamer, or this, you know, I want to do this. So I allot this time. But our basic touch base times now, I'm like, it's when we eat, you know, so it's lunchtime. Let's have that time to connect. But you definitely, the independence is so, and giving the space is so important at this time, because their moods are like, it's a roller coaster ride.
I can imagine.
For sure.
I'm having a little trouble with the connection.
I think kind of cutting out.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit, and then it catches up a little bit.
That.
So I'm able to kind of like catch what you're saying, but it's a little bit of a rush. No, it's all good. It's out of everybody's control. It's all good. I mean, I can still hear you,
and I'm wondering
if you can still hear me. Like,
if this live thing, can it be done without Wi-Fi, like just on cell? because I'm on my phone.
It's through Instagram, so it's however you're connecting to Instagram, I guess.
Okay, because I'm wondering if I shut off the Wi-Fi, if it would be better, because it's our Wi-Fi that's having issues.
Why don't we can try that if you want. I don't know if you need to come out of the live and then rejoin. Okay.
Let me just see really quick.
Got quarantine, Mama Jam says in the comments. Yeah. I love all the quarantine puns and plays on words. That's the first time I've seen quarantine. Yeah. That's a lot of mouth. That's a lot of words in your mouth.
Quarantine.
Okay, how are we doing? Is that...
Yeah. It's a little bit better, yeah.
I feel like
so I just
that seems a little bit better, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for sorting it. Yeah. So you were saying that you found like different ways to, or like you find important to find new ways and different ways to connect. Have you found anything like rediscovered something that you've been doing together, or is it kind of like new stuff, or what are you guys up to when you are spending time together that's not just meeting?
Well, I mean, we were kind of working on our backyard, getting it ready for summer activities, kind of, you know, we have, because I think he's definitely missing his friends, and he has very few friends, but it's quality time, and I'm definitely missing my friends. So we've just been kind of working on the back to make it like a really cool hang area. So when it's time to be able to have some people over, we are so ready. We have,
yes.
And gardening is more my thing. Yeah, totally. And then the skating. So, you know, the last thing that he wanted was to go skating with Mom. But now I'm feeling like, hey, I'm gonna go. Okay, cool. I'll go with you. So it's really cool. And then I'm also trying to figure out things. I'm like, what would you like to do with Mom? What are things that we could both dive into that is on his list? You know, so we've been, when you were saying things that we're watching, we have been trying to watch all the James Bond movies from like the earlier ones. And it's really cool because he knows so much more of the actors than I do, because I'm not a movie person. And he we can watch them in different ways per actor, you know, or in chronological order. And then in that, because they have so many different soundtracks of the same song, or so many different artists doing the same song. So that has been really enjoyable to watch the James Bond movies. Plus all of like the, you know, the naughty scenes. I'm like, oh my gosh, we try and guess how many times that he like gets together with in each movie. But, you know, truthfully, that's kind of been a little bit of the segue to teen world. Like, hey, you can talk to your mom about, you know, kind of stuff, which I never really thought about how I'm going to present that. And James Bond did it for us. So
James Bond's really giving you the framework. That's a real, I've never had anyone using saying that.
What not to do.
We watched them all in order as well a few years back, and I think the overwhelming feeling was like, well, there's a lot of things that wouldn't be in movies now. You know, I think a lot of the early ones, they're so sort of questionable in terms of their, you know, relationship with sex, and like the way that women are in all of the James Bond films are so problematic. Totally. But we went to see, I think Skyfall came out on my birthday a few years back, and we went to see it in the cinema in San Francisco. And I just said, I'm too English to see a James Bond film in American cinema again. It was too, there were too many things where I was like, that wasn't supposed to be a joke. You're not allowed to laugh at that. You know, that kind of stuff. Yeah, cultural differences. Does he like the James Bond films? Like, is he enjoying like the action side of things?
Yeah. And what's really neat is I'm learning he's examining the cinematology the way that they're being filmed, because each one is kind of different, and it's definitely has its place in time and cinematography. That's what it is. So it's not just, the storyline. It's actually pays attention to a lot of different things that I think is kind of neat. Kind of, that is something that maybe we should tap into,
Yeah.
So.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think when you're forced to spend a lot of time with another person or with a couple of other people, you do find yourself learning things about each other that you didn't know that you were going to learn during those times. I think definitely for me, this is the longest time we've spent as a family in the same place. It's really been interesting being like, oh, okay, you've experienced this slightly differently to me, and sounds like you guys are having the same experience.
Yeah, it's interesting. We definitely have our moments of being stuck in our own bubble because we are not talking to other people, and it's just or we don't want to talk to anyone else, but we definitely don't want to see her. I think that's normal teen stuff. But yeah, it's the beginning of my journey in that world for sure. But I love like all the seeing the parents of younger kids, the toddlers. Like I live vicariously through them because there's so many awesome things you could be doing with them. But with teens, you just kind of pick and choose. But it's neat. I like it.
Well, listen, thank you so much for chatting with us today. Before we we wanted to use these opportunities for letting other folks and punk parents know that they're not alone, and that there's other folks going through the same stuff as them. And I think you're the first person we've spoken to that has an older kid right now. So thank you for being bringing a whole new voice and a whole new perspective to how we're doing and the things that are important right now.
Tips.
and yeah, do you have any messages of solidarity, or sending some messages of strength to other punk parents, maybe of kids that are the same age as yours?
I think the important thing is, if you know your child and certain things push their buttons, I just really take the time to take a step back, because like I said before, there's so much more going on in their minds, and by the second it's constantly changing, and they analyze a whole lot. So pick and choose things if they're having a bad day. And also structure is kind of out the door at this time, so figure out the top 3 you would want to accomplish during the day. They may be dreaming of something completely in the future. They may be dwelling about something that happened in the past. But as far as the now goes, if you lose them, bring them back, let them know you love them, let them know you're there, and just choose 3 important things to try and accomplish during the day. And then, for those that are under the pressure of online school, I think it's really important to know not to just let it go because the school year's over and they're just going to let everyone pass, but let them know it's really important. Tune in to school if you can, but if you force it, when they go back, I think they're going to be completely not into it. He does not do well with online school, which I thought he would. He needs that structure. He needs to be around his people. So to do this virtually, which I'm so used to because I work so remotely, is so new to him, and it's weird. I think that at this point, the pressure's off, but they can be enriched in other ways, so learn how to cook something, learn how to play the ukulele, or, those are different things. So, and I feel like there's more pressure being at home as a teen because they are looking for their people. So I think it's okay to get outside and get some sun. So, once a day or every other day, get outside, get some sun, or just be outside, get some, you know, fresh air, and 15 to 20 to 30 minutes of just physical activity outside, I think is really important, really high priority for me, because we can live here forever. We have everything we need to survive here and keep us busy. But, you know, stepping outside is really good for the balance of these growing kids. But yeah, that's my queen teen tips.
That's awesome. No, I think you're absolutely right. And I think that, I mean, just getting outside and realizing you've got your bubble, but then like you're within a neighborhood bubble, and that's within like a, you know, city, but whatever, wherever your bubble is, you know, like it's interacting with everybody else's bubbles too, you know, so it helps to remind everyone that, you know, there are other folks in the same situation and there's other folks going through the same stuff, you know. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us today. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate your time. Sending lots of love. Absolutely my pleasure. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock, we're going to be chatting. Oh, mate, I have a little bit. I got a bike yesterday, though, because the 4-year-old has a bike now, and I can't keep up with her on my skates. So I got a bike so I can, I'm borrowing a bike so I can try and keep up with her a little bit. But we're actually going to be chatting with Chris from Program Skate and Sound tomorrow.
Awesome.
Guy. And he's got 2 little ones. Yeah, and I was going to say, I'm pretty much sure you guys know each other. Yeah, tomorrow at 1. Tune in. Very much, and thank you to everyone who watched. We will speak to you very soon. Stay healthy, stay safe, wash those. Bye, folks.